Heal the world, make this a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying, but if you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Okay, guys, it's very early in the morning. The sun hasn't even rose all the way yet, and I'm getting ready to go out of town for my camping trip. And I just want to share some things with you that I did to protect my food forest while I'm out of town. I thoroughly soaked the soursop trees, and this planter right here that has marigolds in it, it has a reservoir at the bottom because it only has one drainage hole here and one on the other side. And this tray, these two trays, they get a lot of shelter from this umbrella and the gazebo up under. They sit, and the ginger is being shaded as well, but I flooded it with water. It's doing good. And this is my last fruit tree. It's a Metheny plum. It's doing real good, but because it's young and I got the tree in the early part of spring, I decided to bring it under the shelter of the gazebo. And all of these plants right here will be fine because I flooded this one. Again, it has a reservoir at the bottom, no drainage holes. As you can see here, the pecan tree, I put a little saucer under there, filled it with water. I got to get another saucer to put under this one. And then this comfrey, and the last comfrey I planted, I have these saucers. I'm going to add water to each of them so they will be fine. I flooded my peppers. I put a saucer up under that one, the one that's 3 years old. This one right here has just drainage holes on the side, so it has a reservoir as well. I need to get another saucer to put up under this squash, but it's in partial sun. As you can see, this gazebo is covering it, so that means I need 1, 2, 3 saucers. I flooded these sweet potatoes. They'll be fine. These planters right here are under shade, but they have a reservoir at the bottom. I flooded my 2 garden beds. As you can see, the peppers are starting to put on real good here. I sowed these seeds the 2nd week in January, so they're right on time. I'll move on to the other bed. And our Japanese eggplant, let me go closer, that I purchased from Lowe's is beginning to put on flowers. So by the time I come back, should have some tiny Japanese eggplant, and there's another one right there. And I think the squash here, let me go back to the normal setting. I think because I have a shaded structure around them, see right here, and then over here, I think they'll be fine. I water the boxes real well. If I decide at the last minute, that I need to shade them, and I think I will. I could just flip this over and clip it back on. But for right now, I'm going to leave it out because once everything dries up a little bit, I'm going to spray my insect repellent. And guys, let me tell you something. If you haven't made my bug spray, my insect repellent, it's a video that I made recently, you need to get some because I don't have hardly any insects. I mean, this is the first year that I religiously applied that bug spray almost every other day. And some areas every day, just a little bit with the squash. So I applied it a lot over here, and I'm gonna take you to another area. And let me show you the container trees, like this one, and those 3 over there, and 1 over there. They're all over here. I thoroughly soaked them, so they should be fine. The strawberries, there's a row right here, they're covered. And here's another cherry tree in the container. I soaked it. Tomatoes, squash, dill, everything was really warm. Let me show you about this reservoir. See that water right there? It'll soak that up if it needs it. And same thing here. And I just transplanted some more marigolds in here. So I hope they'll be okay. Let me walk over to the other side. So here's the other garden bed. It's a pepper plant I grew from seed. More Japanese. Let me go in closer so you can see that beautiful purple bloom right there. And we have another plant over there. And of course we have cucumbers. And this new phone, I'm loving it. The camera and capability and the way you can zoom in and out is beautiful. It's the iPhone 11 Pro. And I didn't get the Pro Max because it's so fat and I have to hold this camera sometimes when I'm not using a tripod. So it's working out good for me. And then I have 6 grow boxes. Let me zoom out. 6 grow boxes right here of strawberries, and then you know the other 3 over there. So I will keep these shaded. And I didn't water the peach trees that much. You can see a little yellow in here because we got rain the other day. So, and they don't like a lot of water, but I did spot water the marigolds right there. Make sure that there was plenty of water in the bird feeder. And let's go on into the greenhouse. You can see here that I really thoroughly soaked everything in here because the baskets are still dripping water. And the plants over here, which is Pepper Place, they are doing fabulous. And I need to stake some more of them. And you can see we're getting little peppers. Let me zoom in. You can see we have the beginnings, let it focus, of peppers. And they're real tall. They're so tall that, in fact, when I get back, because I'm taking 2 camping trips back to back, I'll come back home and then I'll repack again and go to another camping trip. But this time it's going to be in cabins. I'm not saying where I'm going or when I'm going for security reasons, but I'm not afraid to say on YouTube that I'll be out of town. My house is very well protected and I have a lot of surveillance camera and have the Ring system, so I'm not worried about that. And then I pray for traveling grace and mercy and that everything will be fine when I get back. I want you to see this blue hubbard squash, how tall it is, guys. Let me zoom out. See, and it's just attaching to anything you can get his hands on. So it's doing real good. And the pepper plants are real tall, and topping them off makes them bushier. But I got to do a little more staking up. Okay, so now I'm going to take you out here and show you the corn. It's doing beautiful, real well. That's a plum tree there, and I thoroughly watered all of the containers. And from here, if you look over there by that shed, let me zoom in. Those 3 containers right there in a row, a dark brown one and 2 terracotta looking, but they're plastic. Those are pawpaw trees. I don't show them that often. They have to be shaded the first 3 years. Next year, they'll be able to be out in the sun, full sun. Okay, so I didn't show you all of the food forest, but basically you got the gist of what I'm doing. I think everything will be fine. I want to show you this wandering Jew plant. I cut a lot of it off. And guys, you don't have to root it in water or anything. Just stick it in the dirt. Stick it in some soil. And I can pull this and move back. There's resistance, so I know that this is rooting well too. These will probably go into the house once we get 100 degrees. And another thing I want to show you right over here, the Satsuma tree. There's a tray up under it, a little saucer. I flooded it because unlike most citrus trees, your Satsuma needs a lot of water. Miho Satsuma. And fig trees don't like a lot of water. They have long roots. And then I took the black-eyed peas and put them down in the bed with the pear trees so they can get a little shade. I think they'll be fine. They're really ready to harvest. I'll do it when I get back. And let's see, over here, everything is going well. I'll let this okra get a little too big. That one's still soft. Put black-eyed peas up under here where the banana plants are. Okra, everything's doing well. Now, I'm ashamed to tell you this, but I'm going to share it with you. When I was preparing these 3 planters for planting, I drilled holes in them. And I had several other planters that I wasn't using. When I went to fill up that last one that I'm pointing at over there under the mini greenhouse, I picked up the wrong bucket. I picked up one without any drainage hose. So now you can see that it's a little waterlogged because it rained the other day. But it's okay because I'm going to drill holes in the bottom of it. Okay guys, I want to show you something about this planter. I went and got my drill and I tried to drill holes in it, but it just got stuck because I guess too much soil in there. So I just started stabbing some holes and the water is coming out. As you can see, it's hardly any on this side because it's leaning, but you can see here it's draining really well. Got some big holes in here and I'm kind of like leaning it, and that's allowing it to flow out freely. I don't know how I mixed up containers. Good thing that it rained the other day, and so it was waterlogged. And if it had not rained, I would not have known this until I got back into town. So now I know that everything is draining well, and that's my air conditioning unit noise that you hear in the background. So yeah, it's going to be fine. So I'm gonna stand it up and let you see it's still beginning to flow out. That's why I leaned it so you don't see any water at the top. Everything is flowing to the bottom or out of the drainage hose. So I'm going to leave it on top of this bar. And then when I come out to spray everything, I will sit it up as level as possible. Okay. Looking good. One more time to look at the topsoil. It's draining very well. Because I put holes all across the top as well. Flooding my banana plants because they need a lot of water. So I'm flooding them. And I've watered all the containers really well. All the trees over here. This is what I keep forgetting to show you guys when I be doing a tour. Is my lemon trees. I'll let you see how big those lemons are. It's doing really well. 2 of them right here, and then I have 2 Mexican key limes back here, and they have fruit on them, and they're doing really well too. Okay, and then I have a tree here, elderberry compost tea brewing here with rainwater. And there's an elderberry tree, a plum tree, and a mulberry tree. These are all native trees. Okay. Over here, the sweet potatoes are doing wonderful. And it's climbing up this electrical cable right here. Let me see. That's crazy. And then it'll flop down when it can't find something else to attach itself to. They're doing good. And the summer savory herb is coming up in these 2 containers. Right next to that is the cassava. Doing real good here. Another thing I want to point out, more leaf miners in the okra. It doesn't affect them. So I'm convinced that they were in the plants. Because remember, these were the Bonnie starts that I planted from Lowe's. So Bonnie's had some leaf miners in their products because this is different soil, and I see the same thing happening here and here, and that lets me know that it was in the plants. So now I know that it was in the plants because that's the common denominator. The plants all came from the same source. Okay. So that's about it. May God bless all of you and keep you, and pray for me because I'm praying for you. I let my sons convince me to go on this camping trip because they know I'm a nature girl. I love nature, and it's the safest thing to do. I haven't been anywhere, guys, hardly any stores, anything since February, and I'm a little stir crazy. So taking me to nature where I can sleep out in the open under a tent, sleeping bag, and just look at all the things that God has created on this earth would be a wonderful thing, and I enjoy it. Okay, remember, God loves you and I love you too. Bye now. If you would like to make a donation to keep this channel going, I would appreciate it, and you can send it to my PayPal me account. Any donation will be appreciated. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and tell your friends about my channel.